Okay, Coach Doster, we're through 2 rodeos now, and I just wanted to see if you'd talk about some of the pros and cons you've seen from your team through the first 2 rodeos.
Well, positive thing we've got going, these kids are all out here working hard. We've got them on a really strict program out here as far as practice schedule, workout, routine, and also study hall. And I think it's helping these kids kind of get prepared for the rodeo. All their horses are in pretty good shape. The negative we've kind of drawn some bad stock at both rodeos, which will kind of knock you out of the being a contender, but that's part of rodeo. So, hopefully we'll get that squared away and these kids kind of get these bad draws out of the way, and we'll keep moving forward.
Looking at the results, we just see top 10 in the results. Can you expand on maybe some of the kids that we don't see in the top 10 sheets?
Well, a lot of y'all may not know, but the Southwest region is probably the toughest region in the nation. We've got a large number of contestants. We had about 460 this last rodeo. That's, for instance, in the Breakwater Open, we had 120 kids in the Breakwater Open, and these girls. So they're competing against a large number of excellent athletes. And that's where the draw comes into major factors. Last weekend, Carly Richardson, which wound up 4th in the region last year and is probably our top hand as far as the Breakwater Open, she was 3-4, and it took a 2-8 to come back. And that's just how it goes. She drew up at the calf's been run 3 times, and that calf kind of run off on her and run off to the left. But that's how it goes. But a lot of these other kids, we had some barrel racers. Barrel racers is another event that has a lot of numbers in it. And we've got, this last week, we had 2 girls that ran 17.53, and it took a 17.43 to come back. So you see the small margin of error there as far as what we're making on the fraction of time that's taking us out of being in the top 15. And those 2 girls, in the top 10, those 2 girls were in the top 15. So it's not, if you look at the results, like you said, Joe, the top 10 is all you see, but we've got some kids that are out there knocking on the door. And, with the right stock, I think it'll help them a little bit better.
Yeah, 1/10 of a second, that's real close to being right in the mix.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of your kids who were in the top 10 this last rodeo down in Alpine?
This last week we did really well in the bulldogging and the goat tying and the bareback riding. Ben Ramey, he's a returning student, he moved actually up into where he's leading the standings right now in the Southwest region. He moved up to the #1 slot after finishing 2nd at Alpine. He was 2nd in the first round, 4th in the short round, and wound up 2nd in the average. Another top contender this week was Ty Willett. He drew a steer that really ran on, caught the steer 3/4 way down the arena, was 4.9 on him, and made an outstanding bulldogging run. And then drew a steer in the short round that just set up on him and missed him, so it kind of knocked him out of the average. In the bareback riding, Cole Jameson, he really did a good job for us this last week. He drew 2 horses that were kind of middle of the pen. He was 67, which wound up 6th in the first round, and then he 72 on his 2nd horse, which moved him up to 4th in the short round and 5th in the average. And if he draws a little bit better horses, I think he's going to do a really good job for us. He was really spurring the horse good. He had a nice strong mark out and had his toes out and looked really well on his horse. In the goat time, we had 2 girls that were 8-1, Kelly Kindig and Katie Verstra. In the short round, they drew the goats that weren't probably as good to have, but Katie was 8-7, which knocked her out of the average. I think she wound up 9th overall, and then Kelly was 8-2 on her 2nd goat, and she bumped up to 2nd in the average.
What are your hopes and expectations over the next 3 rodeos? You have Vernon, Canyon, and Texas Tech left.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I would like to get up there and get all the right team members on the team board. We can get a team championship. It's tough as far as picking a team. You have 4 girls and 6 guys you got to pick off a team, and you don't know what kind of stock they're going to draw and all that stuff. So we try to pick the ones that are going to win this week. I'm going to go with at Vernon. We're going to go with 4 girls that have all made short rounds for us these last 2 rodeos. It'll be Kelly Kindig, Laramie Wing, Katie Verstra, and Carly Richardson. That's who's the team's going to be this week. And I hope that we have the right mixture as far as how that goes and get some team points as far as the women's team. And the men's team, I think it's just going to come down to drawing the right stock and be positioned up right. I think we've got the right guys on the team. It'll be Ben Ramey, of course, Ty Willick, Blake Gagnon, which he's been doing everything right in the practice pen, just hadn't been drawing very good at the rodeos. Our bareback rider, Cole Jameson, Ace Adarty, he drew a really bad calf this last week and run off the left, didn't even give him really a chance to perform the way he needed to be. And then JT Pettit, which had an outstanding bull ride this last week and bucked off at 7.8 seconds. So I think with that combination, I think hopefully we'll do some good these next 3 rodeos.